I just feel like if you're going to take back a cheater, there has to be a cheater tax. Selly, selly, selly. I wanted more for you, girl. Hi guys, welcome back to the Shannon Show podcast. Hello if you're new. So today's podcast is going to be a review of Love Island USA Season 2, Episode 18. I hope everybody is doing as well as can be, and I really do hope everybody is being as proactive as possible in supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. And if you're still on the lookout for some resources, I've linked some in the description. Feel free to comment down below your thoughts on my commentary. I'm always up for a chat, I'm always up for a debate. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. No hard feelings. So, episode 18. I mean, there's some bullshit going on in this episode, particularly with a certain couple, which I think you all know who I'm talking about, and a lot of disappointment, to be honest. But let's just get into it. Obviously, we knew starting off there was going to be a recoupling. I'm not going to lie, when I saw it was going to be a 2-hour episode, I was just a bit like, why is it 2 hours? But I think we did need this full 2 hours, to be honest. Going into this recoupling, I was kind of expecting, some tears, some drama, and possible confrontations after. So, first up is Moira. We know she's going to pick Aaron. She picks Aaron. No surprises there. Calvin comes back. He picks Cher. No surprises there. But it's quite interesting because Moira kind of seems a little bit upset. And I'm guessing it's kind of this energy like, well, damn, like, I know I ditched him, but I didn't think he was going to ditch me. Like, I thought I was that bitch, that type of bitch that will have people standing here alone for me, And I get it, I get that energy, but yeah, it's always funny to see. Then we have Kirsten, and Kirsten decides to stand alone. I personally just wanted her to pick somebody just so Carrington wouldn't have the satisfaction of seeing her alone, because I feel like we all knew he was going to come back with somebody. But she chose to stand it alone. That's her decision. We've got to respect her decision. I do respect her decision. It's her game. And, if she really is about this Carrington boy, I'm really not sure why she even is. But if she's really about him, obviously that's a big statement to make. So obviously she's standing there. Carrington comes down the stairs. And initially we're kind of led to believe that he's coming down the stairs by himself, and I'm not sure if this is the producer's doing or Carrington's doing. I really wouldn't put it past any of them, but obviously he comes down the stairs by himself, and we're kind of thinking, oh my gosh, has he come alone? Because they did kind of talk about what if you were just to come back alone and recouple with Kirsten, and he didn't really rule it out. And he comes down the stairs, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, oh my god, he's by himself. And then he does this hand gesture that is basically like, come here. And then obviously the girl comes down the stairs. And that was a fucking piss take. Like, that was absolutely rude. So then he comes, he sees Kirsten standing by himself. And you could just tell, like, he just feels like he is that guy. Like, he feels like the Adonis that he thinks he is. So obviously we kind of were thinking it was going to be between Laurel and Mercedes. You already know I'm Team Mess, so I was kind of hoping he was going to pick Mercedes. I've got nothing against Laurel, but except for the fact she's a bit boring. But yeah, I feel like Mercedes would have brought in a lot of mess, because imagine if Mercedes came back and she spilt everything that happened in the house. Imagine. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed that he didn't bring back Messy ass Mercedes. So then obviously he brings down Laurel, and Ariel asked him, oh, why did you pick Laurel? And he's just like, just being very unnecessary. It's being very unnecessary. He's talking about how Lauren is so amazing, this, that, and how she's the right girl for him, and she has all the qualities that he's looking for, and he was looking for all this time and couldn't find, and blah blah blah. And Kirsten is nice, they had something nice, but she's just a friend. Basically, very subtly downgrading her, and you could tell that he was just enjoying it. This is all one big power trip for him, and this is why I wanted her to pick something, because this is what I wanted her to avoid. But unfortunately, sis had to go through that. Obviously, Kirsten is not happy about that. She says it's rude, it's disrespectful, like the cheek of him. They do address it later in the episode. And I don't know. I feel like the door is still technically open with them. I feel like, again, Carrington is on a power trip and he loves that two women in the house are interested in him. So I think he's definitely going to milk this. He loves having the power to friend zone Kirsten, and he likes having the power to keep her on her toes and keep her wondering. Kirsten knows this and she's trying to resist it, but also kind of playing into it. And Carrington knows this as well. So I think this is all just one big game to him. So I don't know. Like I said, I feel like this Lauren girl, she's nice and all, but she's a bit boring. And Kirsten just seems like a more exciting time. So I think maybe the door could possibly be open for that rekindling. I don't really care, to be honest. I mean, at this stage, I guess somebody could come in for Kirsten, but at this stage, I'm not entirely against her getting back with Carrington, but Carrington is a piece of work. But what do you guys think? Do you think you kind of want to see Carrington and Kirsten get back together, or do you feel like Kirsten should wait or look for somebody else in the house, possibly Jalen or Conor? I'd be interested to hear from you guys. But yeah, interestingly enough, obviously he's picked Laurel, so I'm thinking without Mercedes, I was instantly thinking, well, now what's going to go on with this Johnny situation? Because Mercedes was the key piece of evidence. Obviously, we see I'm not sure if there was any witnesses as to what went on, or whether it was just, they were hearing to what Mercedes and Johnny were getting up to, or people just had an idea, or maybe they walked into the room, they were kissing, but didn't really know the details, the nitty, the gritty. And may or may not have heard it from either party. But obviously, the person that he did it with would be the most reliable source. And throughout the episode, we don't really see any of the Casa Amor girls going up to Selly. And, Selly, I got the pronunciation right. I know some of you were like, it's not Sealy, it's Selly. Okay, I got the pronunciation right today, okay? None of them went up to Selly and said, this is what your man was getting up to, which is quite interesting. I'm kind of waiting for someone to do that, but I think maybe they're just kind of thinking, like, it's not my business, I'm not going to get involved. So yeah, what was I even saying? Back to my point. The fact that Mercedes isn't there, I was instantly thinking it's going to be easier for Johnny to now sugarcoat things. And it's going to be easier for the boys or his friends that are the boys to back up his sugarcoating and try and make it seem that what he did wasn't as bad as what he did. And then the kind of final bit with the whole Kirsten Carrington situation is that Kirsten does pull Laurel for a chat to kind of clear the air. It's very nice. It seems very genuine. She says, she's happy for them. They do look good together. They seem like they're a better suit. But I still kind of feel like there is this energy of the door is open. But like I said, what do you guys think? And do you think she was honestly being genuine when she told Laurel all of these nice things? Then obviously, next in the recoupling queue, Justine and Caleb. And we already know what's up. And it was just such a beautiful moment. Selly's holding her hand as support. She's nervous. And then he just comes down the stairs. He's rushing down the stairs. And she's just like so emotional. And it was a beautiful moment. It was beautiful. I feel like it's a moment that we did need. But after watching this episode, I'm not gonna lie to you, I got a few comments basically saying, I'm not gonna lie to you, I did get a few comments. I feel like when there's a black couple on TV, black people just wanna support the couple because it's like, especially in reality TV, a black successful couple is reality TV, especially on these dating shows. A black successful couple is rare. So instantly we want to back that couple, and we might you know, have a little bit of tunnel vision and not really want to scrutinize the weaknesses in the relationship. I ain't gonna lie to you. There's a couple bits that I've seen in this episode where I'm just like, maybe I have been seeing this relationship through rose-tinted glasses. But I'll get into that in the other sections of this video. But what I will say is that Caleb definitely does need to step it up now. He definitely does need to step it up. Then we have the Sally and Johnny recoupling. And again, it's just sad. It's sad. It's sad to see somebody unwittingly accept trash into their life. It is very unfortunate to witness. So she's crying. She's emotional. She's like, I hope he's been as loyal to me as I've been to him. And as she's saying the speech, the boys are already there, and some of the girls from Casa and Moira are kind of just like looking around like, sorry sis, sorry about it. Then Johnny comes down the stairs by himself. We see her having a little support hug from Justine. That was a beautiful moment. And then the trash walks down the stairs, and obviously Ariel asks him the question, and he's like, oh my god, I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy that she's here alone, and this experience in Casa and Moira has taught me that she's the only girl that I want. All that rubbish, all that rubbish. And he's talking about how he's extremely happy, and then Sally's talking about how she's happy too, and I was just like, oh, girl, ooh, ho. And then obviously after the recoupling, we do see a little moment between them, and he's basically like, I have something to tell you, and she's like, what? And he's like, oh, I've got something to tell you, but it's not that big of a deal. And I already knew the runway for the trash train was being laid. But I'm gonna get into that a bit later. So obviously Mackenzie's up next. And at this point, I wasn't 100% sure if she was going to pick Jalen because of that disagreement that they had yesterday with the whole let's not rush things. So I wasn't entirely sure, but then the more she was speaking, it was very clear that she was gonna ditch Conor and she was gonna pick this Jalen guy. And if you've been watching my podcast, if you've been tuning into my podcast, you already know I'm team mess. So I'm here for the mess. Shadow. I was here for it. And the mess they did provide. I think this is probably the messiest recoupling. And the mess they did provide. This is definitely the messiest recoupling of the episode. So, obviously she chooses Jalen to recouple. And the original and the permanent boys are kind of just like, they're looking around, they're looking at each other, and there's that kind of disappointed but not surprised look, like, because everybody knows that Conor is coming back alone, and obviously they told him, get a new girl, she's going to ditch you, and you can tell they're just disappointed. So then obviously that's official, she's ditched Conor, and then I'm starting to get that feeling in my stomach that I do before a messy recoupling, that kind of, I don't know what it is, whether it's anxiety or like my thirst for drama. I don't know what to call the feeling, but I got a little feeling in my stomach. And the first thing I was thinking is, please don't come down with that fucking bear. Please don't do it, Shady. And would you know, you see Conor just coming down the stairs with them heavy ass footsteps. Like, he just doesn't want to see. He didn't want to see Mackenzie standing there by himself. And you just see that bear in his hand. And Mackenzie sees him coming down the stairs with the bear in his hands, and she's just got her head in her hands. I was just like, girl, don't cover your face now. I mean, if you got you have to do what you have to do. Stand in it, bitch. What is this covering your face? You better look him in the eye. So obviously Conor is just like, he has to do his little walk, the walk of disappointment, not even the walk of shame. And I ain't gonna lie, I did feel sorry for him. At the same time, I was here for the drama, but I did feel bad. And he's talking his shit tonight. I think this is the most shit I've heard Conor speak. He was talking with his chest, half chest today. I'm not sure if it was the full chest, because I think he wanted to say some more, but he kept it cute. But obviously he says that he feels hurt. Interestingly, he says that he feels like he was taken advantage of, but he's still wishing her the best. So I've got to ask you guys, was Conor taken advantage of? Do you think that he was? I would say that Mackenzie definitely put the pressure on him, but I wouldn't say that he was taken advantage of. But I do think that she put the pressure on him and she made him feel like he had to be in this relationship. But I think that's different as taken advantage of, because at the end of the day, and I'm not denying that women can't take advantage of men, but I personally think it was just pressure rather than being taken advantage of. I feel like if you are now bowing down to that pressure, there is some degree of accountability you need to take for that. Obviously, Mackenzie kind of feels a bit like shit. I think everybody, even the girls, they knew it was coming. They knew is bad, but they were kind of hoping with bated breath that he was going to bring somebody else back, so it wouldn't be as bad. But I mean, him standing there with the bear, it's just... It's not a great look. It's not a great look. But of course, after the recoupling, everybody is consoling Conor. The boys shit and chat to him, and they basically are not impressed with Mackenzie's decision. They're like, she's a manipulator. You know, they're happy that she's not with him. But they're unhappy with the way that she's done him dirty. She's given him the runaround. And like I said, I'm not too sure on that. Like I said, she's definitely put the pressure on him. But I wouldn't say that she's given him the runaround. I think she wanted him to be somebody, and she was trying to mold him to be that. And you can't mold a man. You can't build a man. If you want a man with certain qualities, they need to be there from the get-go. Because let me tell you, all of this build a man shit is just going to make you're going to be taking on unnecessary labor. So she was trying to do that. It wasn't working out. So I feel like Mackenzie is entitled to explore other options. She doesn't have to pick Conor. So I'm not sure if that's the boys not really liking Mackenzie and just saying how they feel about Mackenzie, or whether they thought that saying that would make Conor feel better. But what do you guys think? Do you think the boys were fair to critique Mackenzie in that way? Or do you feel like, I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of energy going on, you know? A bit of entitled energy going on. I'd be interested to hear from you guys. We do see them speak later where they properly address things. And again, Conor kind of keeps it cute. He just basically, Mackenzie, tries to make it clear, like, it wasn't about replacing you. We're just not compatible with each other, and I feel like you deserve somebody else. He's just basically like, obviously I was upset, but I'm not mad, and, I still care about you, and I want the best for you, and I want you to be happy. So he's still kind of keeping it cute. And honestly, I don't think the door is completely closed on them, because I do think there could be potentially some issues with Mackenzie's new relationship, which I will talk about. But yeah, I wouldn't close the door completely on them. I don't think they are compatible. So I do think them not being together is the best thing. But I don't think the door is completely closed. But I'd be interested to hear from you guys. Do you think the door is completely closed for Conor and Mackenzie? And if it was to open back up again, would you be here for it? Would you be here for Conor and Mackenzie getting back together? So obviously, after that, the people from Casa and Moore go, those lazy ass people. I mean, when you're lazy, I don't understand what you expect. A lot of them were last minute men, and it was just tragic to see. But what is quite interesting is that usually in the UK one, when they're saying their goodbyes, they usually bring everybody together. So they'd bring the Casa Amor boys and the Casa Amor girls together to say their bye-byes. But they didn't bring the Casa Amor girls. And I think that would have been interesting, because that would have given a possible opportunity for Mercedes to spill the full beans to Sally. And I think she would have done that, because you could tell she was a bit thirsty for attention. So she would have wanted to go out with a bang. So let's get on to the main event. The trash that is Johnny. So, obviously, we see Johnny and Sally have their chat where he reveals what went on. in Casa Amor. So, the first thing that I noticed is that he kept trying to downplay the situation. He kept trying to downplay the situation and contain and manage Celi's emotions. So, he starts off by saying, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal what happened, and not to worry about it. Then he tries to transfer the blame onto Mercedes. And even though he kind of puts like a kind of asterisk, oh, but I did it willingly, there was still this type of energy of, well, she came onto me and she took advantage of me. So he basically tries to make it out like Mercedes was this man-eater who came after him, and, he had no choice but to relent. And there's kind of this energy of, how can you blame him from succumbing to a man-eater? That's the kind of energy that I was getting, but let me know how you feel about it. So to me, that whole exchange kind of sounded like faux accountability to me. Then he starts all of this, the experience changed me, that kind of new angle of, I did my dirt, but it made me the man I am today. That is, a classic on the cheater script. Again, it's just trash. And it's a rookie trash move as well. So, she's hearing all of this. Celi's hearing all of this, and she's obviously upset. And at first, I kind of thought that she wasn't feeling the bullshit. I mean, 24, you've had enough life experience to know, I would hope, to know that Johnny is clearly chatting shit. And she basically says, shit is not adding up. Like, I mean, how could you, do all of this stuff when you claim to be all in? I mean, you're trying to say it's not that big of a deal. But like I said, it's not like they were in the beginning stages of their relationship and they're just talking like you do in real life. This guy has basically made a commitment to Celi and made it seem like he was a one-man man and Celi was the only one for him, and he was all in the relationship. And to me, all in the relationship is, you're not out here kissing other girls, cuddling other girls under the cover. I mean, who even knows what he was really doing under that cover? So then, obviously, she goes off, she's crying, and she basically is having a little bit of space temporarily. Then we see a snippet, and this is why I'm kind of side-eyeing Caleb now, because we see a little snippet of Johnny and Caleb after the whole initial reveal. And Caleb, his first question was, I believe it was along the lines of, so how did you present what happened? And that instantly makes me feel like Johnny obviously was not telling the entire truth. Caleb knew this and perhaps had even had a discussion with him, giving him advice on how to, limit the damage. So then he's giving him this advice of, you have to let her hate you and stuff like that. Obviously, the stove is still hot. You got to give her time and, let her know that, you're still here for her and all of this rubbish. Just basically giving him tips to win her back. And like I said, I'm not sure if we saw Caleb condemn the behavior. To me, it kind of just seemed like it was only Carrington really checking Johnny about his behavior. But to me, it kind of seems like Caleb was coaching him, and that Caleb had particular expertise and experience with this type of recovery from temptations. So it just kind of feel like a cheating camp to me, to be honest. And he was one of the students, so I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little bit suspicious of this Caleb guy now. But I'd be interested to hear from you guys. I mean, am I looking a bit too much into this, or do we have to be, a little bit suspicious of this Caleb guy? I mean, it was just very interesting to me. So then we see, obviously, she's just going around crying. She had to talk with Justine, and she's just basically like, she still cares about him, but she doesn't want to look like that stupid girl on TV that takes back her cheating no good partner. And when she was saying that, I was just like, I feel like she's going to take him back, I feel like she's going to take him back. But I was kind of thinking she was going to, at the very least, make him work for it. I mean, he had to cook her breakfast, he had to massage her back, massage her feet, all that shit for a week, That's what I was thinking if she was going to take him back, Because, sometimes, at the end of the day, people do take back cheaters. It is very common. But I just feel like if you're going to take back a cheater, there has to be a cheater tax. I think the cheater tax should match the disrespect, in my opinion. But I'd be interested to hear from you guys. Can you get down with forgiving a cheater? Or are you just like, nah, like once you cheat, we're done? I'd be interested to hear from you guys. Then we see, them go to bed and they're already cuddling. So I'm always like, okay, I can see the energy of forgiveness already. I can see the energy of forgiveness because they're cuddling. It's not like, he's on one corner of the bed, she's on one corner of the bed. They're cuddling already. So I was just like, man, Sally. Like I said, at least the cheating tax, girl. You deserve a little bit of cheating tax. But it just kind of seems like it's just like free forgiveness out here. Then the next day, instead of giving her space like he should and like what he has been advised to in Caleb's cheating camp, he decides he's now going to bombard Sally. And this is when the gaslighting begins and the intensity begins. Because in the confessional, he was saying he doesn't want her to wait too long for her to realize that, what they have is worth more than what he did. And this is, the trash textbook, because I'm very manipulative, because he doesn't care about all of that. What he doesn't want is to leave it too long for her to actually sit down, think, and marinate in the disrespect. Because if she was to sit down and think and marinate in the disrespect and then marinate how he barely took accountability for that and tried to downplay it, she would be like, hold up a minute, this man is trash. I need to put him in the bin. So that's why he was in a rush to talk to her. And that's what I believe anyway. But I'd be interested to hear from you guys about his sudden now not wanting to give her any space. So obviously in this new talk now, he just begins gaslighting her. And he just saying, I didn't think you would be upset. I didn't think it would be as big of a deal as it is. And in the confessional, it is just... And then, in the confessional, it was just, the absolute cheek of this guy. I just could not believe the cheekiness. I was just thinking, I thought Trey was trash, but at least he was honest with his trashy behavior. This Johnny guy is like a full-on liar, and a pathological liar as well. It's feeling very pathological to me, because he's in the confessional, and he's talking about how me and Sally made an agreement that kissing and stuff in challenges is cool. We get a free pass on that. And then he changes it I view Casa Amor as one big challenge. So therefore what he didn't count. What? Because you didn't just kiss the girl. You were in bed cuddling with her. I'm sorry, grown people cuddles are not ain't no PG cuddle. Things are rubbing up on each other. So all of this is just a cuddle. I'm not buying that. Because, these grown cuddles, things be happening. So then he starts talking about how he set boundaries in Casa Amor and he didn't go past them. So now he's again downplaying what he did because I'm guessing because he didn't have sex with Mercedes. So what he did wasn't that bad. And again, it's very manipulative behavior because he's trying to gaslight Sally into thinking that she's overreacting. And that is very manipulative. And then he leaves it as, I said I'm sorry. I care about you. The ball is in your court. And again, this is something very manipulative because it's basically trying to force Sally to forgive him. He is now flipped it all around to make it seem like she's the one being comfortable. It's kind of a thing of, what else do you want from me? There's nothing else that I can do. But it kind of negates the fact that all he's done is do the bare minimum. So I was hoping she was going to rise above it, but he put in work. Because for me, I'm very sharp, so that shit couldn't run with me. But like I said, he's very calculated. He's very manipulative. And even when she was trying to speak, she kept saying, well, I think what he said was, well, what do you want? Or do you want me here? Do you want me here? He kept kind of butting in. And even that in itself, he's trying to make her second guess. He's trying to now antagonize her as being the unreasonable one in this relationship, to make her now backtrack and think, okay, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe what he did isn't so bad. He told me about it. He's being honest. Maybe he's been honest with me the whole time, and therefore his values hold up. So, unfortunately, the manipulation works, and she falls under the manipulation. Unfortunately, she's been a victim of the cheating camp, to be honest. And later on in the episode, we basically see her say that she actually now trusts him more. And now they're back together. They have a little kiss and they're basically back together. And I was just like, woo. I was like, who? The manipulation. This is how manipulation works. And it's tragic. It's very tragic to see. I wanted better for Sally, but I think this is going to be her coupling now. So I'm just kind of thinking, well, what's going to go on? How can we plot to get rid of this trashy guy? How can we plot? Because in some recouplings or some dumpings, you have the option of saving one person in a couple. So that could potentially be an avenue. But to do that, we'd have to put Sally at risk. But it's just like, I don't know. I don't think I could support Sally winning with this trash cargo with her. I just don't know what to do, guys. I don't know what to do. What should we do? How can we save her from this? I think she's gone. I think she's too far gone. I think Johnny was very successful. Yeah, he was a very successful recruit of the cheating camp. So another development in the episode is basically Moira is just feeling very emotional this episode, like just crying literally all the time. She's just upset, she's distraught, and the reason why she's upset is because she has not found a connection with anyone in this house. This Aaron guy, she's not really feeling him. I'm not surprised by that. I didn't really see the chemistry between them. Then she goes to Calvin and she's like basically like, oh my god, I'm upset you didn't speak to me, like that was disrespectful. Calvin keeps it cute and he's just like, oh, sorry about that. But I could tell he's probably thinking like, what the fuck, like if you wanted us to talk, you could have just came up to me as well. Like, why is it all on me? Because I personally think they're broken up now. They're not really obligated to speak with each other. But if one of them wanted to speak with each other, I mean, it would be either one of them. I don't think it's up to like one person. They both ditched each other. So that was a bit weird. What was funny is that Calvin was then telling Cher about it. And Cher was just like, it's just a bit weird that she's crying and like bringing the mood down. Like, I don't understand why she's upset. Like, surely she should just enjoy the experience. And yeah, I kind of just feel like Moira should just enjoy the experience. Obviously, it's called Love Island, but you're also getting a free holiday, babe. It's better than being in quarantine. So, yeah, but I can still understand why Moira is coming from. I think she just wants to, you know, be in a loved up couple. But I just feel like she should just enjoy her time in the island. But I think possibly we could see her just leaving early. I could see it coming because, I mean, the way that she's just crying seems a little bit strange to me. Aaron seems pretty understanding. He's just basically telling her, you know, it's okay to feel like this, you know, and, you know, you've got to accept the fact that you might not find love in him, and that's okay. But at the same time, he's going around telling Jane, like, look, like, you know, it's unfortunate she's going through it, but at the same time, she's told me she's not feeling me, so it's like, shit, like, I need to, you know, find another avenue because I'm trying to stay in this shit. I ain't trying to go home early. And you know what? I can't fault him. At the end of the day, the game is a game. I mean, Moira is not looking like a stable option right now. Or Moira, it's not looking like a stable option right now. So he's got to do what he's got to do. So I'm not going to lie, I respect it. I knew Aaron was an opportunist. And he's here to do what he's came to do, innit? So, another interesting development is that after seeing what was going on with Sally and Justine takes it upon herself to kind of ask Caleb what happened, what went down in the villa. Caleb basically says, he didn't kiss anybody outside the challenge. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of just was rush binging, so I'm not sure if that is completely true, if he didn't kiss anyone outside the challenge, but I do know that he was sharing a bed with Cher, which he didn't reveal to Justine, and I think that is a bit of a key information, sharing a bed with somebody. So that's quite interesting that he left that out of the conversation. But what do you guys think? Do you think it's a minor, them sharing a bed, or do you feel like he should have told her? Obviously he says that he's not really he was interested in Cher in the house, but he's not going to pursue that in the house, and I don't think he will. I think Caleb knows he has to stick with Justine, so I think he's going to be smart and stick with Justine. But what's quite interesting is that Justine now speaks to Cher, and I personally don't think she should have done that. Again, you know how I feel if you've watched my podcast. I just don't think that you should make yourself appear in any way, shape or form vulnerable to possible competition, because to me, it kind of does scream insecurity. And for me, that gives somebody who might have a big ego, even bigger ego, and might think, okay, she's threatened by me, I'm going to make her even more threatened of me. And then what do you know? Cher says, she's happy with Calvin right now, but she wouldn't be against stepping on somebody's toes. I think the smart thing for Cher to do is to just stick with this Calvin guy, because if she does try it with Justine, if she does try it with Caleb, even though I'm here for Mess, I'm team Mess, it's not going to work out for her. I mean, the public is just going to be on her ass and she's going to be gone. So personally, I don't think that would be the smart decision, but the honest truth is her and Calvin are not going to make it far. They're not going to make it far, and I think she's acutely aware of this. She used Calvin to get in the house, and she will do whatever it takes to stay in the house. And if she was really smart, the smartest thing to do is to find somebody else to couple up with. So I think she is acutely aware of that. So perhaps maybe we might see Cher whiling out a little bit, stepping, talking to mans that she shouldn't be. I guess we'll see. But what do you guys think of Cher? Do we like her? Do we not? I mean, I like the things that she's saying. She's talking the talk, but I don't know. I really don't. Her energy is a bit downbeat, to be honest. She's just very nonchalant. She's a pretty face. She's a beautiful girl, but her personality doesn't really stand out to me, to be honest. But I'd be interested to hear from you guys. And then the final piece of drama, Jalen and Mackenzie. Honestly, I think it was very clear from the last episode that this Jalen guy is basically thinking about talking to other people, seeing other people. So Mackenzie's suspicions were right, and I think most of us knew it anyway. But in this episode, Mackenzie kind of has a problem that he is spending all of this time with other people, offering counsel to other people, namely Kirsten, and she basically pulls him up on it and basically says I'd appreciate if you could spend more time with me. Mackenzie didn't say spend every single minute of the day with me, even though I feel like that's what she wants, because she's so used to Conor just hanging on her tits like a little child. I mean, this is quite a difference in behaviour. But she basically asked him if he could spend a little bit more time with him, and Jalen was just basically like, what? I have been spending time with you. Where we're at is good right now. I don't want to change myself for you, basically. And I mean, both of their points are valid. I think from what it looks like, Jalen is not really spending much time with Mackenzie, and I can understand why Mackenzie's having a little bit of an issue with that. But at the same time, that's kind of who he is. In Casa Amor, I feel like he was pretty much the same as well. And like I said, you can't build a man. I mean, if you want a man with particular qualities, you've got to meet them like that. I mean, you can't add on the qualities later, I'm afraid. So instantly, I'm kind of thinking they're probably not going to they're probably not going to be compatible, and they're probably not going to last long. And that's why I kind of think that possibly Mackenzie could end up going back to, or like Jalen is going to start exploring other people, and that's going to get on Mackenzie's nerves, and that's going to push her back to Conor. And then sure enough, in the first look, what do we see? Jalen and Mackenzie basically having another disagreement, and it looks like he's now trying to see what Kirsten is saying. So yeah, more drama to come. It'd be interesting to see how Mackenzie reacts to that, because I feel like she's trying to tame her reaction down, because I think if this was Conor, I think she definitely would have reacted with a bit more intensity, because she knows she can get away with that with Conor. She knows she can't get away with that with Jalen. So it'd be interesting to see how that develops and how Mackenzie deals with that, and whether that pushes her back to Conor or not. But I'd be interested to hear your predictions and theories on that. But that's pretty much the roundup of my thoughts on this episode. Do let me know what you thought about this episode. Do let me know what you thought about this commentary. How do you feel about Sally taking Johnny back? How do we feel about Caleb? Are you suspicious of him? Are you not? Am I just looking into things? I'd be interested to hear that. What do you think is going to go on with this whole Mackenzie-Jalen situation? Do you think she's going to go back to Conor? Do you think Kirsten and Carrington could possibly get back together? I'd be interested to hear from you. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't yet. And if you have, don't forget to put that notification bell on so you'll know when the next podcast is dropping. I'm also trying to get to 1.7k subscribers. I'm almost there, and I appreciate if you help me reach that goal. And thank you to everyone who has subscribed so far. Till next time, guys. Bye.